Some of the buses are like trolleys, they're electrified. Okay, right across the street from the northeast corner of the Park of Heaven temple is the Hong Kong, or Hong Chow, excuse me, Pearl Market. It's also where you can get electronics right there on the first floor on this end. The irony is I go in and bargain, and I bargain by getting them give me a price, and I tell them I'll come back. Then I go somewhere else, go for the price, because now I got an idea of what they're talking about, and I'll drop it down. Like this time I came out with a price of 150 for something, so when I went to the next place I said 75, and then when I returned to the first place thinking I'd gotten a killer deal at 75, she lowballed it just to get me to buy. I'd already bought, she didn't know, to 65. So even when you think you're at your cleverest, they're still ahead of you. The most you can hope to do is shave down the damage. This is a market I discovered just not more than 50 feet away from the main road I was walking on. I thought more fun to come in here and roam around. My favorite. These are some foods that are already prepared for the housewife to eat and or to cook with, whatever they are. Lots of peppers. And various kinds of noodles and so forth. Rice, probably wheat. Too cool. I went lots of all kinds of food. That looks like pig snout. But a lot of this food I can't identify, but the average housewife, she knows what she's looking at. Knows how to make it something her family's going to love. I'll always take time out to roam down streets like this because they're more fun than anything else. If you starve in Southeast Asia or China, at least Beijing, part of China, or this northeastern and the Central Plains area, you're just not trying to eat. They're where the eggs come from that I get in my noodle soup, or where some people get meat from. Some of the squash they get is big. Some of that I've seen is like 3 times as big as that lengthwise. Angela delicacies, these are, well, these look like individual little fish. These prawns. And here you just choose what it is that you'd like, and they'll whip it up in the form that you're used to, I guess. A kind of tofu. Oh, and these are different kinds of crackers and so forth.
No.
You can only imagine what these are. It's the skin, yeah, from probably the pig, he said. Yeah. Ah, okay. This is thigh meat right here. Yeah. And some birds that you may or may not eat. You can either start your own pigeon farm or eat them, I suppose. You're live fish without having to bother touching them. They're all ready to go. I'll be darned. The differences between Southeast Asia and other third world nations in the United States and England, or United States in particular, is our incredible marketing system. We have the capacity to create 7-Elevens and Albertsons that have everything, and they get it on a continuing basis in large organized forms. I mean by the trucks. And here they don't. Here it comes individuals filled, individual little niches. So that your sunflower seeds you sell will come in a private car by a couple who's made a little niche business out of wholesaling those things and delivering them to individual vendors. So the marketing web is far, far more intricate probably than ours. Likely. Now all these individuals may collect them, and then they'll gather them, and then there's a network for continually moving bigger volumes, probably to the periphery of the city where there are huge yards that process those things. I knew if I kept wandering far enough I'd find the subway station. Now I can go where I want to go easy. What I want to do is get the girls to write this in Chinese for me. The ones that I like. Okay, I faked myself out a little bit. I'm trying to get up to the north end, and I'm just halfway up there. but I came down a spur spot to discover that. This is the northeastern part of the moat that went around the Forbidden City. Up there, I think, where we see that tower is Jingshan Park. This is a very pretty doorway, double doorway on a business of some sort. I just wanted to catch it. It's began by a young woman who speaks excellent English, well, relative to most people here. She speaks very, very good English. And she saved the "do you want to have a cup of coffee" till the very, very end of a very involved conversation dealing with the law, a legal question with regard to a supposed friend of hers. These people are very good. The ones that are good are really good. Here, this is the north entrance exit, if you will, to the Forbidden City. And across the street here is Jingshan Park. Okay, I'm now inside Jingshan Park, which is directly north of the north end of the Forbidden City. And so we'll wander through. It's in here that at the time the rebels were at the gates of Beijing and were obviously going to take Beijing, that the emperor killed his daughter, 15-year-old daughter, all of his concubines, and then carried himself up to the top here and hung himself on a tree. Every time I see these elegant vases, and not necessarily large ones like this, but just any that have the flowers and plants floating, and I think it's such an elegant display. It'd be lovely to have something smaller of this nature in my home, although I'm not there long enough to justify this. Wanshun Pavilion, I think, is the one at the top. So I'm going to go to the bathroom first, and then we'll walk up here somehow and get to the top. Like all the parks I've been in Beijing, they're very pretty, very maintained, very tranquil. I wonder if Beijingers can get, for example, an annual pass to any of the parks, particularly if they live nearby. That'd make them a wonderful asset. This is just a wall of Chinese descriptions and so forth of the Great Wall and everything else. This is a wall of explanations in Chinese and pictures of this park and of the Forbidden City. I'm just going to pick a few pictures that I think are quite interesting. Beijing at some earlier time, some part of it, perhaps around here. This is the Qianghua Chaw. Some forms of punishment, I think. Oh, that's a bear. This takes us up to that temple. For some reason here, many of these stones have holes drilled in them. What purpose that served, I don't know.